I'm looking at him, I was like, that looks like a pretty good buck.
This week we're headed down to Texas to see my good friend Keith Miller with Texas Trophy Whitetails, but we're not whitetail hunting, we're axis hunting. This week we're headed down to Texas to see my good friend Keith Miller with Texas Trophy Whitetails, but we're not whitetail hunting, we're axis hunting. He's got a fantastic spot. They take limited numbers. You know, it's 20 hours doorstep to doorstep, so you don't look forward to the drive, but you sure look forward to getting down there. And this year we timed it perfectly, so we met him at the gate at 1 o'clock, got the handshakes. We're hunting with a good friend in the industry, Mark Scroggins, who's from Woodhaven Calls.
I've hunted Texas a lot over the years, and she actually killed an axis last year. It's the first time we've ever axis, and I've never killed one, so we're looking forward to it.
Oh, they're addicting to hunt.
Oh yeah, tell me.
They're
Yeah,
so
she's like,
pretty.
I want to go again. So. A week ago, had no intentions of going axis deer hunting. Got a text from my old buddy Brad Rucks at Deer and Deer Hunting magazine, and he's like, you want to go axis deer hunting? I said, when? He said, next week. I said, okay, I'm in.
Texas Trophy Whitetails operates as their name implies. They're a whitetail outfitter, but they have whitetail, turkey hunts, and in the springs they have exotics. It's low fence, so it's, you know, open range. The fences there, you know, you can easily crawl over anything. They're probably 4 feet tall. The animals go over them like nothing. The beauty of his exotic hunts is they only take about 30 axis whitetail hunters during the season. And they have over, the one farm's 10,000 acres by itself. Then they have a couple other ones that are connected that are 2,000 to 2,500 acres. So they're probably running on 15,000 acres. First night in Texas, sitting over a water source. It's hot, almost 100 degrees. So these axis bucks are coming into water. I shot one here a couple years ago, really nice velvet buck. The cool thing about this spot is they come from everywhere, so you kind of got to pay attention. The water tank's about 200 yards out, chip shot for a rifle. Wish I'd be able to bow hunt, but they're just not coming to the protein feeders. Time will tell. 20 hours, doorstep to doorstep. First night in the tree, first night in the blind. Excited to be here.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
It's warm, you know, you're hunting in Texas at the end of June, so it's going to be, you know, 90 to 100 degrees, and the heat's rolling in. The funny part is, in my backpack, you know, I always take 2 bottles of water. One of them, my ozonics unit, literally stuck a hole right through the bottle of water, so I didn't realize it until I get to the stand, and I realized my backpack was leaking, and I'm looking down, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And then I put my other bottle of water as soon as I opened it in the windowsill, and the wind blew it over, and now I'm out of water and I'm sitting in 100-degree weather. We're rifle hunting because that year it was really wet in the spring, so all these pastures are green and the axis deer are really eating the protein feeders. And you know, you're starting to see axis bucks and whitetail bucks. All of a sudden, a pretty good one came out. He was a ways away. He gave me a shot, and I ended up taking it. And the reaction's priceless. I mean, literally, he does the leg kick, he runs in the woods, just literally falls over on his back. Now, so I knew he was down. I was excited. I'm not going to lie. I was jacked up. So right after the shot, I texted Steve and said, hey, I shot one, come in. And I even showed him on the video. He looks a lot bigger than what he is. And then when we got there, and yeah, I had a little bit of buck fever. And you should never, ever try to check an animal in the scope, right? And that's what I did. I never really pulled out my binocs again. I did look at him right away in binocs, and I thought he was one of those tweeners. And then when we got up to him, I was like, yeah, he's definitely a tweener.
But he's not as tall as he looked on the
video, is he? No.
Oh, they look amazing on video.
Yeah, they sure do. It's a cool looking deer, though. Thanks, man.
Oh, congrats.
This is the best trip ever. 20 hours, and right here's the results of 20 hours of driving. I got, 2 hours of sleep, so tonight we'll sleep good. Tomorrow we'll try to shoot some hogs. And well, maybe we should put him in here marking this, because that was a big.
We literally hadn't been in the blind 5 minutes. There's an axis buck. We are rolling across Texas. It's about 12:15, June the 29th, on a very unexpected trip to Texas to hunt axis deer. My buddy Brad Rucks from Deer and Deer Hunting Magazine, we've been friends for years and years. He sent me a message last week and he said, hey, you want to go axis deer hunting? They had someone back out, and he was gracious enough to think of me and invite me, so I said, yeah. So Lisa and I we rolled yesterday and spent the night in Abilene, and we are just about 30 minutes from the gate, and we're going to start hunting axis deer this afternoon. I'm still kind of pinching myself, trying to make sure I'm believing it, because we wanted to come axis deer hunting this summer, but we never thought we were going to get to come again, but here we are. Well, we made it to camp the first afternoon. We met up with Brad and Dave and Keith and Steve that own Texas Trophy Whitetails, and it was hot. I mean, they were calling for record temperatures, and they told us, they said, look, they're not really hitting the feeders, but they're really keying on water, so that was the plan for the first afternoon. We literally hadn't been in the blind 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. Lisa's trying to adjust the tripods, and she looks out way across the flat, and she's like, there's an axis buck. And as soon as I looked at him, there was no doubt, no binoculars needed. He was definitely a shooter, and he was working our way. We lost him as he was going into the brush about, 250 yards down off the hill. I'm waiting for him to work up through there coming to the water, and then all of a sudden I seen him and he's coming. But unfortunately the wind is blowing like 40 miles an hour. So the water was coming over the top of the tank, running down the hill, and it had puddled up down there and we didn't know it. So he stopped short just behind the brush, and she could see him a little better than I could. I've got my gun out the left window thinking the whole time he's just going to come to the trough. Unfortunately, he stayed right there, drank, and walked off the hill out of sight, and then he roared all evening long, never gave us a shot. We go ahead and drive down to the spot we're going to hunt just to be in the area when the weather breaks. And Keith's like, let's just pull in behind this old water tank. The truck is hid. Let's just ride it out. And when it breaks, we'll pop up the blind on the other side because that's where I want to put you. And we'll be ready to go.
This is a wide one.
Whoa.
Way up there. You like big coddle points.
We just need it to quit raining now.
He's looking right at us, so.
Don't move.
Yeah, don't move.
Well, we're going to attempt to get the blind up in the wind. You can see it's still pretty black back there, but it looks like on the radar we've got about 30 more minutes. And then get out of the wind here where you can hear me. 30 more minutes. And maybe it'll pass, and we're going to try to get the blind up. That way when it does, we can get in and get started. So we're going to go pop it up real quick. Grab the chairs. Okay, we got in. You can see it's still raining. We'd been there 10 minutes, 15 tops. I look off to the right, all I do is see horns coming across there. I told Lisa, here comes a buck. Beautiful deer, but not a shooter. It's raining hard, you know, it's coming down, and we can just catch glimpses of axis deer in the brush. Really can't tell what they are, but we can tell there's multiple deer there. Then all of a sudden she's like, there's another buck. And I'm looking at him, I was like, that looks like a pretty good buck. Dropping?
Yes, you dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Thank you. My buddy Brad Rucks at Deer Hunting. Thank you so much. This trip to Texas has been unbelievable. Brad and I have been friends a long time, and we've never got to share camp together. And when he texted me and he's like, you want to go axis deer hunting? He'll never know how much that meant to me.
Modern Hunter is brought to you by
Well, what other kind of advantages do you get from using the silencer?
Yeah, good question. So obviously the natural one people think about is like sound mitigation, which I think is important. I think sometimes that we forget real world, typically we're hunting with someone else, so we want to protect their hearing as well. I think that also people sometimes hunt with their animals like their dogs, so they want to protect their ears. There's also, if you've been hunting enough, which I feel sure you have, you've probably forgotten to put your earmuffs on, or someone else shot and you didn't have yours on. So it's kind of a natural protection for everyone. And I think people forget that. So that's a benefit. Recoil reduction is always one that I forget to mention. Yep. Brakes were really hot there for a while, and it was because it reduced recoil. Well, the benefit of the suppressor is you're able to get the same recoil reduction, but you also get the sound mitigation, so you don't have to wear the earplugs. What I've noticed too in real world hunting scenarios, especially larger game, you can hear the impact of your bullet, and you can typically tell if it's a kill shot just because,
really,
typically when you take a shot, the blast is so loud, it sort of covers up the impact shot. But yep. I've hunted big game so many times that when you hit, you can tell if it's a solid. If you hit bone or it's just a good. And of course, I still love the prairie dogs. It sounds like a wet towel popping them when you hit them. So you know for sure you hit them. So I'd say those are the major benefits. I mean, also it helps accuracy, just having a little bit of weight on the end of the barrel, similar to like a bull barrel. It helps your accuracy. It speeds up your velocity a little bit. So there's no negative impacts there. So overall, it really enhances the hunt.
We got 3 different calibers here. I got a .223, I got a 9mm, and then I got a .308. We're gonna put these things to the test so that you can hear the difference for yourselves. The big thing is with that recoil reduction, especially for long range, we have a long range .308 here. I wanna see if it makes a big difference, because if I can get that recoil reduction a little bit, it's gonna make a difference when I'm shooting 1,000 yards. Only way to test this is to actually shoot it without the silencer on first. Whew. And now to check recoil, I'm going to take it out of the vise and shoot one more downrange. All right, we got the Banish silencer on the AR. We're going to take 2 shots, same as before, and let's see if we can tell the difference. Ooh, definitely on the sound. Recoil, again, is hard to tell until you get it in your hands. Yeah, definitely on both sides. You can feel less recoil, and it's a lot quieter. Here we go, we got the 9. We're gonna check it first without the silencer, so you guys can determine the sound by yourself. Here we go, got the 9, the Banish silencers installed, and we're gonna give this a workout, see if it makes a difference. Can definitely tell the difference, even on smaller calibers. Way quieter. I would say less than half. All right, now it's time to test the big boys and see what a difference it'll make. We got the suppressors installed on the .308. Let's take those same 2 shots and see if we can feel and hear the difference. Huge. Definitely on the sound. You can definitely hear and feel the difference. You know, for field recoil, I mean, it'd be great for kids because now they're not going to feel any kind of recoil, especially when you move up to a larger caliber like this. I think with this reduced volume at the muzzle blast, you're going to be able to hear that shot on a deer that's 100 yards away or 200 yards away, just giving you reassuring that you've made that hit. I'm going to put a silencer on all my firearms from long guns to handguns. I want to feel the difference and I want to hear the difference.